Now, pelvic floor. Now, we need to get to know about our pelvis, first of all. Now, remember that this is your pelvis. The sides of your pelvis are your hip joints. The front is your pubic bone. The back is your tailbone and your little coccyx down the bottom. And you may have had the misfortune when some smarty pants at school pulled the chair out from underneath you and you landed flat on your bottom. Now, I would all like you to think of your pelvises. Now, I have this wonderful colleague that I work with at the Continence Clinic called Leanne. Leanne, can you stand up, please? It's just for the people up the back may not be able to see the pelvis. Now,
I'll hold it if you like, darling.
This is our pelvis. Oh, Natasha, that'd be wonderful. I don't know whether I trust her or not, really, but anyhow, never mind. This is the back of the pelvis. This is the front of the pelvis. Now, you're all mostly sitting like this at the moment. Could you all sit up? Nice and straight, and can you wriggle towards the front and get away from the back of the seat? All right, now, can you all slouch, please? Lovely. And now can you grow tall and get really, really tall? Okay, now think of the pelvis. This is 12 o'clock at the front, and this is 6 o'clock at the back. Can you all move towards 12 o'clock? Slouch. And can you all go towards 6 o'clock? 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Back to the middle. Okay, can you all sit on your hands? Now, can you feel those bones that you're sitting on?
Some of us have a little bit more padding than others. Yeah?
They're there. Okay. Now, 3 o'clock's on the right and 9 o'clock's on the left. So can you all go 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, stop, stay there, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Okay, all have a rest. Thank you, Natasha. Now, remember, pelvic floor is the floor of the pelvis. It's as simple as that. Now, the pelvic floor has 3 outlets. So we've got the pubic bone at the front. So we're looking at this person, this woman from underneath, and she's lying on her bottom. So we've got the pubic bone there at the front. We've got the coccyx bone at the back. We've got the seat bones over here. Now, we've got the urethra at the front, and someone did ask a question. When you do pelvic floor exercises, do you think of the urethra? Urethra is the outlet of the bladder? Most certainly. Then we've got the vagina in the middle, and then we've got the back passage at the back for the bowels. This person we're looking at from the side, so there's the pubic bone that Natasha's found so beautifully for us. That's the tailbone and the little coccyx at the bottom, and that's that pelvic floor. Bladder, uterus or womb and vagina, and then the back passage. Okay, now we need to... So can you all now sit up straight again? And can you all put your hands on your knees like that and lean forward? Now, could be another way of feeling that pubic bone at the front, tailbone, and you're sitting on those seat bones. So it's almost like you're on a triangle. Pubic bone at the front, coccyx at the back, and those 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, those seat bones that you sit on. Right. Now, perhaps we'll just sit up straight now. Now, beautiful posture, none of this slouching. If you want your pelvic floor to work properly, if you've got good posture, it means it's under a little bit of tension. You know, it's at the starting line, ready to go. If you, so that's why there's that point of trying to have good posture when you're lifting because your pelvic floor's ready to go. Okay, so all sitting up nice and straight. Now, we might think of the pelvic floor at the front. So pretend that you're passing urine and you're going to stop the flow. So off you go. 1 and 2 and 3 and let go. Okay? Now, this time, pretend you've got a tampon in, right? So what I want you to do is think of that tampon as just gently squeeze and lift around the tampon. 1 and 2 and 3 and let it go. Okay, now this time think of being in church. Now, if you pass wind in church, everyone will know it's you. And, this rule of, when I teach pelvic floor exercises to blokes, I say the same thing. Okay, now remember, sitting nice and straight, think of the back passage and just gently squeeze and lift and stop the wind. Keep it there, 1 and 2 and 3 and let it go. Okay, now, if you work it at the front, it's going to work at the back. If you work it at the back, it'll work at the front. So it doesn't really matter. If you think of it at the tampon, it doesn't matter. Whatever, the front and the back work together. So don't think that you've got to contract at the front and relax at the end. Natasha might be able to do it, but mere mortals can't. Now, some people like to think of a piece of thinking of the vagina, of just thinking of picking up a piece of cotton wool, just sitting on a piece of cotton wool. It's getting bizarre, isn't it? Where just think of squeezing and lifting the piece of cotton wool. Some people like to think of a zipper. So you think of the vagina and you squeeze and then you lift it and zip it up. It can be fun for sex. Especially if you're in a rush and you're wanting to get to work on time. Who should bother with pelvic floors exercises? Now, the symptoms are, and I think Elizabeth mentioned it before, stress incontinence. So you're coughing or sneezing and you think, whoops, I've lost a bit. Or you decide, you're menopausal, you decide to get fit, you want to lose weight, you take up running, and you're wet. So that's stress incontinence. Another type of incontinence is urge incontinence. And urge incontinence, again, Elizabeth referred to it before. 1 minute you're fine, the next minute, just because you've turned on a tap, you're absolutely busting. So that's another symptom. Now, remember, pelvic floor exercises, it's not just I shouldn't say pelvic floor exercises. I really should be saying pelvic floor muscle training, because there is a huge difference. And sometimes people will come to a physio and you'll say, oh, well, why are you here? And you'll say, because my doctor told me. And you'll say, well, yes, but why did you go to the doctor? Oh, because I've got a prolapse or something. But I've been doing pelvic floor exercises for years, and I really don't know why I have to come and see you. Well, there's a huge difference between pelvic floor exercises that you've read about and pelvic floor muscle training. And after tonight, a third of you will still not be doing your pelvic floor adequately. So please don't think that tonight is unfortunately going to set you on that pathway necessarily of pelvic floor muscle training. So if you're having issues, for heaven's sake, do something about it. So stress incontinence with coughing, sneezing, running, jumping. Urgency or urge incontinence where you're racing to the toilet. Another symptom is prolapse. Prolapse, right? Now, that is a really good reason for doing pelvic floor exercise or pelvic floor muscle training. Another symptom of, they're probably the big three, probably stress incontinence, urgency incontinence, prolapse, and of course soiling from the bowel. That is another one where pelvic floor muscle training is part of the treatment. It's not the only thing you do. Now, how often? Now, when you're trying to improve your pelvic floor, and a sort of dosage or what I find most people who come to me who haven't done pelvic floor muscle training for a while, or they've just had a baby or whatever, I find that most people need to hold for the count of 3. 1, just have a go. Now, do it either at the either think of the bladder, the vagina, or the back passage, doesn't matter. Gently squeeze and lift, hold it there, 1 and 2 and 3, and let it go. And you give it a rest for about the count of 3, and you do it again, 1 and 2 and 3, and let it go. Okay, and again, 1 and 2 and 3, and let it go. So I find that most people who come need to do that, and they need to only do about 3 or 4 reps, and that's a set. And I say to people, do 3 to 4 sets a day whilst you're trying to improve the muscle. And it's quick and easy, but you do it 6 days a week. So for heaven's sake, have a Sabbath. Now, you need to be able to practice where you can concentrate. Initially, it's quite hard to do, and you need to focus on it. So some people, and everyone's different, like some people are better in lying, and some people are better in sitting, and some people are better in standing, whichever way you can feel it. Now, a lovely way to check it is to put your hand between your legs, and actually in the shower or something, you better not let the children catch you, and just gently feel that muscle move away from your hand. And when you relax it, you should feel the muscle rest on your hand. So, look, we don't sit at traffic lights for ages here in Albury-Wodonga, thank heavens, and certainly not in Barnawatha. But Melbourne, oh God, Sydney, traffic lights might be a good time to do it. Okay. Can you all just sit towards the front of each seats? Okay, now can you all cover your mouth? We better have a bit of hygiene here. And what I want you to do is, I want you to turn on the muscle and do a, better not all cough, but do a, did that muscle stay on whilst you coughed or sneezed? It's something to practice. And you might, some of you who particularly people that have a prolapse will often find that when they cough or sneeze, they can feel it drop. All right, okay, sit towards the front of the chair. Can you all turn on your pelvic floor and stand up? And let it go. Okay, now we're going to scramble your brains. Can you all turn on the pelvic floor and sit down? It's quite hard. Now, we really need to be using our Now remember, you've got to tune into your pelvic floor, right? Now, for heaven's sake, you can't walk before you can crawl, and you can't crawl before you can sit. So, for heaven's sake, follow that rule, hold for 3, rest for 3 or 4, do 3 or 4 in a row, and do it 3 or 4 times a day. But once you're wanting to make it a bit harder, yes, you need to be able to use it when you cough or sneeze, and you need to use it when you're lifting, and you need to use it when you're lowering. So at 3 months, if someone did, an ultrasound on the pelvic floor muscle, it would have enlarged. At 6 months, there's permanent changes. However, remember, for a simple problem, simple pelvic floor muscle training, a bit like what I've described tonight, can make a difference. But if it's more complicated, you're going to need extra help. Relaxation. Relaxation of the pelvic floor is as important as being able to contract the pelvic floor. Relaxation is terribly, terribly important. It's important for when you want to empty your bowel. It's important for emptying your bladder. And some people, particularly younger women who haven't had babies but keep on getting recurrent urinary tract infections, sometimes it's because they're not very good at relaxing their pelvic floor. And some people will find that, now we're talking about, again, younger women often who haven't had children yet, they might have painful sex. And painful sex, that shouldn't be happening, and sometimes those women will get sent to me for pelvic floor muscle training, for relaxation. It's not all about strengthening. Now, these are places where you can get, these are some other sites other than Jean Hale's. Now, Pelvic Floor First is a great website. It's Australian, yes. And it's Continence Foundation of Australia got some funding for it, and they've got this great little app that's free. And it's a pelvic floor safe way of exercising. So great for women that have just had babies, great for women who are menopausal, who have put on a bit of weight, they're wanting to lose weight, they're wanting to get fit. It's a safe way of doing it. And you've got your continence services, and you can always ring the Continence Foundation of Australia. They'll tell you where the closest continence service is, and they'll also tell you where there are physios like me.